May I come in?
Come in.
Good morning, ma'am. Morning, sir.
Sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you got delayed because of the rain?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it still raining outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you come to Delhi for the first?
Yes, ma'am.
Have
Yes,
you come to Delhi just for the interviews?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise you stay in Bhopal
Yes.
or Gwalior?
Yes, ma'am, Bhopal.
Bhopal. Okay. I notice that you have gone to a co-ed school
Yes, ma'am.
both the years, that is up to 10th and even later, both were
Yes,
co-ed schools. Now, as you know, there is a lot of opposition from some sections about co-ed schools. Do you think that's justified, or are good co-ed schools a good idea and that will help in sensitizing the boys particularly towards women and give respect to them? How do you feel about co-ed education?
Ma'am, I think co-ed is definitely a better idea, because even if we are not in schools in co-ed, but in society we have to live together. And if since schools only we are sensitized towards each other and understand each other's concern, then I think co-ed is a very good option.
Is a better option.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But why do you think there are not many co-ed schools?
Ma'am, I think the thinking that boys and girls should be separated from each other, so that nothing here and there it goes, ma'am. But ma'am, I don't think it's a good idea, and the whole concept is itself flawed, ma'am.
Now, what are the measures taken to prevent rape by society and authorities? What are the measures they have taken or generally take to prevent rape?
Ma'am, in society, there are certain positive steps like teaching son and daughter both to behave, especially son, and daughter to be empowered to raise a voice if something like this happens.
So this is at home.
Yes, ma'am.
What you are saying is quite correct, but that is at home.
Yes.
Outside in society, what has government done to prevent this? What are the measures that have been done?
Ma'am, legally, there are measures like Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. Then there are IPC provisions as well. But in terms of awareness programs, I think the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao program is a good step, and it includes both legal and awareness initiatives. Yes, ma'am.
The other measures also?
Ma'am, other measures are like the technology issues. We have launched a helpline for women, so that if they have any issues, they can directly contact us. Then we have community policing, so that they have a connect with people.
Better lighting.
Yes, ma'am.
Better. But yes, I agree. Tell me more. I think what you are saying is exactly what I think.
Yes.
That the sensitization has to start at home and in the school.
Yes,
At these measures don't work.
yes, ma'am, definitely.
So I think that is the thing. Did you find that amongst friends and all that, people were mixing with girls without any kind of a stupidity about being with girls or anything?
Ma'am, I think I found both kind of people. And but I have found a unique issue of boys who are not going to co-ed schools. They have a different kind of tendency towards women because they haven't seen women since childhood.
Exactly.
So I think that is why, in my experience, I've seen them.
Yeah, that I think is
Yes,
very true. Now, I notice you did 5 exams 5 times.
Yes.
Right? Now, why is it that you did not think, you have a father's profession, his own business, self-employed.
Yes.
So why did you not think of setting up a project, your startup, an entrepreneurship? Why didn't you think of that instead of going in for service, especially after 5 exams you couldn't get in?
Ma'am, The foremost reason is I have been involved with NGOs since my college, ma'am.
Have been involved in?
With NGOs, ma'am.
With NGOs?
Yes, ma'am.
I see. Which is the largest NGO in Bhopal or wherever, or Gwalior or where you stay?
Ma'am, there is an NGO Nirvan.
In?
Nirvan. There is an NGO named Nirvan.
Dilwan?
Nirvan.
Nirvan?
Ji.
Okay.
It is involved in various activities, and ma'am, I think that trigged me, and that took me to a different kind of work that I wanted to do.
What are they doing? What kind of work are they doing?
Ma'am, they are involved in mainly education.
In?
Educating the child or educating the girls, especially the dropouts and the late admission people. Yes, ma'am.
Can you name some other big NGOs in India which are very well known?
Ma'am, different, like for child labor there is Bachpan Bachao Andolan. For child rights there is CRY. Then for education there is ASER.
Is?
ASER, ASER. And
Pratham?
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Pratham. And then other than this there is CHAO for acid attacks. And
you've heard of the name Shanta Sinha?
Sorry, ma'am, I haven't heard.
She has done lot of work with children, children's education. She got a Magsaysay award. Okay. What is a Magsaysay award?
Sorry, ma'am?
What is a Magsaysay award?
Ma'am, it is given in different fields, basically for public service. It originated in Philippines. Ma'am.
Philippines, right. Now, so since you have this bent towards NGOs and you've been exposed to them, what is the field in which you would like, after, if you get into the service, which is the field you would like to specialize in? I mean, if given the chance.
Okay.
Or at the district level, where would you concentrate your energy?
Ma'am, although I think that we need holistic development even for education, but ma'am, I think I would focus on poverty reduction in rural areas, the rural empowerment people of, because I have learned that even educating a child is not possible when there are issues at home. When there is no bread, then the bread versus education, bread always wins, ma'am. So I think we have to work on that.
So that's the area you'd like
Yes,
to work on
yes,
more. Okay. Mr.
Shubham.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shubham, what is the difference between money bill, rather amongst, I would say, money bill, finance bill and ordinary bill?
Sir?
Differences amongst.
Sorry, sir?
Differences amongst
Yes.
money bill, finance bill and ordinary bill.
Yes. Sir, ordinary bills are generally passed by the houses without any money concerns, generally. Like the finance bill is a larger part and the money bill is part of that. Like in Constitution, financial bill is defined as under Article 117, 1 and 3, in which it asks...
Money bill, finance bill under 117.
117, 1
okay,
and
right.
117.
Finance bill under 117. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the money bill is part of finance bill, which specifically deals with the...
Under which article?
110, sir.
110, right. Yeah.
And some money bill has to be passed within a certain rules, like it can only be passed by Lok Sabha. And Rajya Sabha mainly gives permission within 14 days. And ordinary bills have a little different kind of process. Both the House play almost an equal role.
Who decides that it is a money bill?
So it is the Speaker who finally decides it.
So is that the finality or can it be challenged in the Supreme Court?
So the matter is sub judice. The Supreme Court still has to take the decision with the larger bench.
Right. Good. Yes. Related with cricket.
Yes, sir.
There is an Indian cricketer who has made us proud by winning 2 ICC Decade Awards. So who is that cricketer and which main ICC awards he has got? A Decade Awards.
Sir, I am not aware, but if I can just make a guess, sir.
No, who is?
Sir, so maybe Sachin Tendulkar, sir.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Anyway, Mr. Virat Kohli.
Okay, sir.
And
Thank you.
2 awards, 1 is related with the
ODI.
trophy. Which is that trophy?
Sir, I'm not.
Anyway, no
Yes.
problem. Related with philosophy, there is a philosopher who said, I know that I don't know anything, that I know nothing. I know that I know nothing. Who was that philosopher?
Sir, it was John Locke.
Socrates. He said, I know that
Okay.
I know nothing.
Sorry, sir, I mixed up.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. Socrates. Related with your state,
Yes, sir.
is cheetah extinct from our country? And where was it last seen?
Sir,
Now definitely it is extinct. If I said where was it last seen,
yes, sir.
it means it is not there. Anyway, it is extinct, and where was it last seen and when? Approximate idea, not exactly the year.
Sir, I haven't read.
Are we going to introduce cheetah now anywhere
Yes, sir.
in your state?
Sir, in the Kuno Palampur Wildlife.
Konu,
Yes.
Konu National Park.
Yes.
We are going to introduce. From which country we are going to introduce?
Sir, I think, I'm not sure, but I think, sir, Iran.
Namibia.
Namibia.
Anyway, new education policy you might be very well aware of.
Yes.
How it is going to transform higher education in our country?
Sir, it has a lot of initiatives. In terms of governance, even though it is yet to be passed, but the Higher Education Commission of India, with different kind of powers, like the Higher Education Financing Agency would be the funding one, and it will be the regulatory one. Then it will have the power to even call for cancellation of licenses, but without inspection. So the kind of governance that we need might be brought with HECI. Other than that, sir, we are focusing on specific universities, like the research-specific universities. So it might propel the research environment in our country.
What is this National Research Foundation?
Sir, it is a national level body that collaborates and consolidates the research work in India by supporting different organizations.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what the importance of the day?
So what is?
Today, why it is important?
Sir, I haven't read for today.
The date
Okay, sir, I heard important. Sorry, sir. September 10th, sir.
today.
Yes, sir. 11th, sorry, sir.
Today 10th or 11th?
Sir, 11th.
11th. Why it is important?
Sir, today the attack on World Trade Center happened. Sir.
Okay, what else?
Sir, I know about this.
Vivekananda gave his Chicago speech today.
Okay, okay, sir.
Now, why Vivekananda's speech is so important?
Sir, he very comprehensively combined the values of spirituality and the modernism that we need.
No, why Chicago speech is important?
Yes, sir.
I am not talking about the general philosophy.
Sir, in that speech only, like, he talked about how we need the value development in the world, how our forces have to be channelized for not only uplifting the technology or economy, but even the human development and the social forces, sir.
No, but didn't the world knew about Indian philosophy before Vivekananda gave that speech?
Sir, definitely it was heard, but it is the way of presenting the philosophies that matter. And he presented in a way that even everybody understood from different spectrums. Sir.
Today it is raining very heavily.
Yes, sir.
What happens when the rain comes? What is the importance of this rainwater?
Sir, generally it is good for our crops.
Why?
So because the rainfall helps in without irrigation, like we depend on irrigation and rainfall helps in preventing that. Also, sir, it helps in germination of crops, seeds. And other than that, sir, it also helps in filling up the river bodies and the groundwater as well.
Now the groundwater and the water which is coming through the rain, do you think there will be a change? There is a change in properties and the quality?
Yes, sir.
What kind of change you expect?
Sir, I do not know the specific chemical change, but I think, sir, under the ground, there are a lot of chemical like salts and different minerals are present, and the rain might, because it's mainly pure in the acidic form, so it might lead
Acidic?
to matlab H2O, that the combination might make it more alkaline, sir.
No, it is acidic or alkaline?
Alkaline,
First
sorry,
decide
sir.
that.
Sorry, sir, alkaline.
Alkaline.
Yes, sir.
What is the pH of normal water?
Sir, around 7, sir.
7.
Around.
So it is acidic or it is alkaline?
So it's generally neutral, sir, but
Neutral.
considered alkaline.
So you think that the rainwater, it doesn't have any good character?
Sir, it definitely has good characters. It has good characters.
Now suppose a rainwater happening in the town and in a village.
Yes, sir.
What can be the differences?
Sir, in the urban areas, it will definitely help if we have rainwater harvesting systems, then it will help.
No, don't talk about the rain is coming down. You collect the rain in the city, rainwater,
Yes.
collect the rainwater in a village. What kind of change you think can be possible in the chemical composition?
Sir, I do not know about the chemical composition, sir.
No, you can't anticipate anything?
Sir, I am not able to.
Okay. Now I'll come to my last question.
Yes, sir.
We all talk about climate change.
Yes.
They say that climate change is happening. The word is change. Do you think that climate should be static?
So climate should be.
Static. There should be no change.
Sir,
Will that be good for the civilization?
Sir, I don't think so. That is a natural process, sir. But the climate change will be there even since generations. But it depends on us how we want to lead it.
No, forget about that. We are discussing very scientific issue.
Yes.
No philosophy. So whether the climate change is good for human civilization or not,
Sir, it
or
is,
should the climate be static?
sir, if climate is static,
If
then
climate is static, then it is disciplined.
yes, sir.
There is no change. Okay. So whether that is good or an indisciplined climate is good.
Sir, I think if we look at the present generation, then definitely, sir, the static climate will be good because they won't have to make certain changes. Like the warming is increasing and people have to adapt to it. So if it is static, then there is no problem. But
So then why you are unhappy with your static life as on now? Why you want a change in the form of a job?
sir, because
You want the climate to be static, but you want a change in your job. Which is more logical?
So I think it depends on our purposes, and human civilization, if it wants to flourish, then they always look for controlling the environment. And in that sense, the static climate would be right. But in my sense, sir, I want to progress more in my life, and this can be one of the ways.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Tell us how the states are ranked in the ease of doing business in the country.
Sir, it is ranked on various parameters.
Can you name some of those?
So like the starting a business, property registration, then sir, the credit availability.
So where does Madhya Pradesh stand in that?
Sir,
Or do you know the score which Madhya Pradesh has?
sir,
Okay.
I'm
No
unable
idea.
to comprehend, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Many people say that ease of business in India is actually unease of business.
Okay.
Would you agree to that? And can you tell us what are the area where ease of business is actually not happening?
So definitely we need lot of changes at every level
So
for,
which are the area we need improvement?
sir, first of all, the local governance, sir. Because if a company has to register, then it first has to approach the state and local governance. And if we do not change
But
it,
company registration is by the registrar of company, which is basically central, and online it happens.
sir,
What is the major problem in that?
so
After you register,
Yes.
then you are trapped.
yes, sir.
You are trapped because compliances are too many and is not having
Yes, sir.
kind of ease of getting into. Okay. So, what else?
So other than compliances, I think the credit market, that is also lacking in our country because we mainly depend on the banks and in that also there is a lot of inequality issues. So
Okay.
if we deepen and enrich it, then it might increase our ease of doing business.
Okay.
rankings.
What else?
So then the exit mechanism as well. The MSMEs, especially after COVID pandemic and lockdown, are facing a lot of NPA issues and liquidity issues.
How much MSME contributes to the economy?
So around 40 to 45% of GDP, sir.
And how much is the job contribution by MSME?
So around 50% of the employment.
Okay. But why then we are not concentrating on MSME? Why? What is the problem?
Sir, although we are bringing a lot of reforms, but MSMEs need to be provided local empowerment, sir, because they are generally smaller. So even a bit of red tapeism can put them down at a very large scale. And the forward and backward linkages, both are not that up to that mark which we need, sir. Like the backward linkages of credit or the raw material, etc.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that this whole business of federal arrangement, state subject, union subject, is actually not working? You see agriculture sector, a state thing, but ultimately you have to bring reform by the center. Similarly, you see most of the reform,
Yes, sir.
which is initiated by the center, but at the state level it flounders or it is allowed to fail, even central schemes. So should India not actually be a union of a state rather than the so-called federal word which is not in the constitution?
Sir, I think the constitution of this federal scheme is not in itself wrong. It is the application of our actions that is
But
wrong.
there is no word, not even a whisper of federal word in the constitution.
Yes, sir.
Yet the intelligentsia and polity of this country accepts federalism.
Yes, sir.
Not only that, propagates federalism. What is your view on this?
Sir,
75 years we have wasted, and we were at par with China at the time of independence, almost at par.
yes, sir.
Today we are at least 10 times lower, if not 5 times. Now you tell us.
Sir, federalism is not just for economic development or the flourishment. It is definitely helpful in that, because if we do not provide, federalism also includes local governance. If we do not provide the empowerment, and
No, that could be decentralization. You make them powerful, at the same time make them accountable to
Yes.
perform. Today there is no accountability of a state and local bodies. Okay, everybody is law into itself. What do you think about it?
sir, there can be issues of corruption or the lack of accountability, but even that within federations,
So even then you will continue with the federalism because a failed system.
not sir as a failed system, but definitely we can improve, sir.
Okay. There is a growing controversy in respect of tribunals.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what is the latest amendment, what has been done by central government, and what is the controversy?
So the changes have been brought in the selection committee because there was no proper institutionalized selection system. So they have created a committee, then they have fixed the tenure, then they have also how to properly make them accountable by the removal mechanism as well.
So how many tribunals have been scrapped? There have been many.
Yes, sir, they have been.
I mean, there have been mergers or scrapping. So how many have been scrapped roughly?
Sir, I'm not
You are not
remembering
aware.
the exact
But can
numbers.
you name some of the tribunals
Yes, sir.
which have been scrapped?
So like the merger of CCI tribunal and other tribunal into NCLAT, sir, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Company law has been merged in with the CCI? Yes.
Sir, yes, sir. CCI tribunal has been merged into the.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what is the controversy? Why Supreme Court is so irritated on this change of selection? Why Supreme Court want to be law into itself? Because they say we are the masters of judiciary.
Sir, it is about the the executive interference, sir, because
What? Executive also has quasi-judicial powers.
yes, sir.
And do you think executive functions only on dotted lines?
No, sir, definitely not. But
So?
the judiciary sees it as the
So
separation.
should we replace executive with judiciary and tell them to provide justice and implement all the schemes?
No, sir, but judiciary sees it as encroachment on the powers.
How?
So, like the
Tribunals were only to give expeditious justice.
sir, because tribunals will be having definitely the quasi-judicial power.
Huh.
But earlier, what happened was the appointments were done by the executive only, and usually the executives used to be placed at tribunals. So that creates a kind of conflict. Ki you are implementing policies and you are also judging.
So
your
should
cases.
we revert then to presidential form? Because then president is the sovereign head and the executive becomes subordinate to president. After all, executive is also appointed by president. So should we revert to presidential form, where the judges are also appointed by him?
Sir, I think.
Or should we give some ultimate power to president? I'm asking constitutional issue.
So I think even in present system, we are working fine, but we need to improve, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, can you tell me something about e-commerce rule?
Yes, sir.
Some 2-3 points of e-commerce rule.
Sir, it has brought a nodal officer by the e-commerce companies for the complaint redressal. Then it has also asked to ban the related company's sale by a particular company.
Okay. How it protects the privacy?
Sorry, sir.
Privacy. How it protects the privacy of a corporate?
So privacy of a
Yeah,
corporate.
privacy.
Sir, because the corporates have a way of dealing with the market so that their markets expand, and they are protesting that the related companies they sell a lot of amount through related companies, and the definition has to be very precise that what actually means the related companies, and the corporates are very apprehensive about that they might lose a lot of market.
Okay. What is double entry accounting system?
Sorry, sir.
Double entry accounting system. Double entry
Okay, double entry. Yes, sir.
accounting system.
Sir, so whatever amount is debited in a
Okay, why double entry? It is not duplicate.
sir, it is basically balancing of the account so that there is not discrepancy. If account is balanced in debit and credit, then we can have a proper balance sheet form, sir.
And recently some proposal was to change the accounting system, government accounting system. Can you tell me what was the proposed change and why it did not come up? Proposed change in the accounting system.
Sir, I'm not aware, sir.
Okay, no problem. This who are supposed to whom you can call a big regulator? Big regulator.
Sir, what big
Big regulator.
regulator?
Yes. Whom you consider as a big regulator in India? Is it the Reserve Bank or it is something else? It is a SEBI? Okay, and what?
Sir, even RBI is a big regulator, sir, because it controls.
SEBI is the big regulator, I think.
Sir, SEBI is also a regulator, but it only focuses on this the money market and the stock market, sir. But the RBI has an overall monetary policy lookout, sir. And thus, sir, it has a bigger role. Definitely not a larger, but definitely
Okay,
bigger.
there are different types of investment in the project. PPP model is there,
Yes, sir.
EPC model is there, AM model is there,
Yes, sir.
HAM model is there. So, how do you compare it? EPC to TOT, how do you compare?
Okay.
To BOT, EPC to BOT, how do you compare?
Sir, EPC model relies more on the government part because government has to provide you funding, then construct, etc. However, sir, the different model like the BOT, build, operate and transfer. So we build it, provide them, but private has an equal role of the commercial risk on it. And the later one, the recent one, the hybrid annuity model, it has combined both EPC and BOT so that there is a risk sharing and 40% is given in advance and then through annuity model, not the toll.
You have found that regarding unprivileged children.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is a specific level of for children? Jawad law for children. What
Sir-
not forms?
Sir, there is Child Labour Act, sir,
Yeah, what is that?
which prohibits below 14, which prohibits total employment, and between 14 to 18 in the hazardous establishment, sir.
What is difference between commission and corporation?
Sir, corporation is incorporated as a company, and commission is basically set up to as a kind of regulator, facilitator, so that the corporations work well.
Okay, last question you tell me.
Yes.
There is always project overrun.
Sorry, sir.
Project overrun. Project is overrun. 5 years in place of 5 years, it goes to 10 years, to
Okay.
11 years.
Yes, sir.
Project
Yes, sir.
overrun. How you do auditing for the project overrun?
Sorry,
You are
sir.
an auditor. Suppose you have to audit the project overrun.
Yes, sir.
Any project. How do we do auditing of that project? Because it can go from 1 month to the years and years. What is the system of auditing of such a project? Most of the projects are now overrun projects. Anything you can think of anyway?
So I think the expenditure mechanism in which we are executing the project, sir.
Can it be estimate based?
Sir,
Because
can,
estimate was made already 10 years earlier.
yes,
The
sir.
estimate is estimate.
Yes, sir.
Can it be estimate based?
Sir, I think it should be outcome based, sir.
Okay, can put that out from my side.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the interview is over,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
and unless you want to ask some questions, I will ask the panelists to give their comments.
Ma'am, I'm okay, ma'am. Matlab,
You're okay, don't
Yes.
want to ask anything. Well, by and large, you've done well.
yes, ma'am.
You speak well, you present whatever you say well. But I'll say to you what I say to most others.
Yes,
Be brief and be to the point.
okay, ma'am.
As much as you can be brief, be to the point.
Yes, ma'am.
Secondly, read the Constitution as if you were reading the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita. Every part of it. Directive principles of policy, federalism, all that. So that you know the matter thoroughly. Okay, so that's one book that you must be very thoroughly with. And then your subject was economics, I think, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Economics. So there's so much on economics that you have to
Yes, ma'am.
know. Okay, fiscal policy, monetary policy, budget. I mean,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
must be able to answer questions on any of these. Money bills, all that. So economics you must be very thorough with.
Yes.
And
Optional is
optional is philosophy.
Yes, ma'am.
So questions will be asked on that. So not only Western philosophers, but who are the major Indian philosophers?
Yes, ma'am.
You must know. Who are the major Indian philosophers?
Ma'am, there have been many like the even S. Radhakrishnan,
Hmm?
the Dattacharya K. Dattacharya,
Hmm?
the Krishnacharya Dattacharya, ma'am, Krishnaraj Dattacharya.
Hmm.
Then, ma'am, there is Jiddu Krishnamurti.
Hmm.
Then there is even Mahatma Gandhi
Hmm.
and a lot of people.
What about the ancient philosophers?
Ma'am, ancient philosophers have been various philosophies like the Sankhyan and the Kapila, the Gautam. There have been many philosophers, but it was a proper school. So there have been contribution of many philosophers. Ma'am.
So we have 2 or 3 major schools of philosophy.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know them?
Yes, ma'am. There are, I think, 6 orthodox and 2-3 heterodox schools of philosophy. Ma'am.
Orthodox or whatever they are called, what are they called? The major schools of philosophy in India.
Ma'am, can you please tell me?
Nyaya, Mimamsa.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm saying. 6 schools.
So you
Nyaya,
must
Mimamsa.
know what they are.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Huh. That's the second. This is part of your philosophy. You
Definitely.
should know whatever the questions come. Who are the major philosophers under each of the schools?
Yes, ma'am.
That you should know. Then, of course, some Western philosophers that too. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any more remarks, but I'll ask them too.
Yes, sir.
I think, as ma'am has said, you need to brief. You need to be brief.
Okay, sir.
The second is, when we are seeking your opinion, okay, then if you are giving solution, okay, correct, current situation is correct, then you say, okay, there could be criticism this side, or these are there, but the strength of current system is this. Okay, positive thing, and to my mind, it is the best thing. Okay, so that kind of thing. So come out with ideas. You are given opportunity to redraft or redesign or rethink. So then you must show some kind of original thinking apart from the wisdom that is there in these preponderance. Okay, you were given difficult questions, so you have done very well by and large. Okay,
Yes.
right, but you need to also 15th September is your interview.
Yes, sir.
So now relax and augment your other things.
I mean, that was one thing when we were discussing about the overrun project.
Cost, yes, sir.
Cost, time.
Yeah, so normally you see most of the time either CAG or whatever quality has been done, they always compare with the estimate.
Okay.
Procurement material, it was estimated to the
material.
5,000 crores and having procured at 10,000 crores. We start from that basis, like that. Make good answer for this question, I mean, ask sometimes.
Okay.
Very good answer.
I had a very simple question for you.
Yes,
and
sir.
I am surprised why you couldn't answer.
So
When the rainwater is coming, there are a lot of pollution. So a solution is made. Have you heard about the acidic rain something?
yes, sir.
What is that? How it happens?
So the nitrogen oxide and sulfur oxide. Yes, sir.
Okay. So similarly, when there is rain, after the rain, the sky becomes clearer.
Yes, sir.
So all the pollutants in the air, all nitrates and the dust, everything comes with that.
Environmental
Now,
aspects.
in a village, that kind of pollution won't be there, so that will be more purer form of water.
Okay.
While it is coming from the ground, then various minerals are mixed with that. So a little bit of
Sir, I
common sense.
answered it in the economic side,
Yes.
right? I'll keep that in mind. Yes, sir.
You are a good candidate.
Yes.
It will be better if you can restrict your hand movement.
Sir,
अगर कर सकें तो अच्छा है.
okay. Sir, anything in communication, ma'am? Anything?
Oh,
Just
no,
to
we've
brief.
just been communicating.
Yes, ma'am, just to be brief mainly. That answer has to be more in a briefer manner,
Of course.
right, ma'am?
Of course.
Ma'am, anything else in the
Brief
time?
and to the point.
Yes, ma'am.
Brief and to the point. Absolutely. Don't give introductions
Yes.
to any subject. Whatever has been asked, go straight to the point
Okay.
and say, yes, no, whatever you have to say. That's all. So don't ramble. Whatever you do, don't ramble on.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay? Finish it quickly and that's it.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
All
Thank
the
you, sir.
best.